All eyes are on Cleveland today. The GOP presidential hopefuls are prepping for their first major debate of the election season. The top 10 candidates will take the stage in prime time. The roster was set based on recent poll numbers.
The bottom 7 will participate in a so-called happy hour debate this afternoon. Joining us now from Cleveland is Huey-Burns from RealClearPolitics. Thanks for being with us, Caitlin.
Hi, good morning.
So let me ask you, Donald Trump will be center stage tonight. What are we expecting out of him, and how are other candidates preparing to handle him?
Right, that is the big question for tonight, whether Donald Trump will be how we've seen him over the past several weeks, or whether he will present himself as a more serious contender as the polls show that he is leading and as the media and the rest of the party starts to take him more seriously. We've seen candidates over the past several weeks preparing for this debate with Donald Trump in it, deciding whether to go after him or whether to lay low. You've seen some, going after him directly in the lead up to this debate. So he will be at center stage literally and figuratively.
So let's talk a little bit about Donald Trump. He's been pretty vocal, saying, look, I've never done a debate before. I don't even know if I think I even heard that he wasn't really preparing all that much for it. But what do you make of that? Do you think that's just a strategy to maybe lower expectations? Or do you think he should be concerned that this debate could hurt him?
Well, this is the first time, really, that Donald Trump will be held on policy issues and specifics. He's been able to really kind of control the narrative so far. He's been able to do different kinds of events. We saw him at the border taking questions, but kind of picking and choosing what to answer. So this is the first time I think we'll really see him pinned down on these issues. Whether he chooses to answer them is the big question, and whether his rivals choose to pin him down as well is another question to watch tonight. But he's certainly lowering expectations in terms of debate. He is, and what people like about him is that he is a political outsider. He hasn't done this before. So that's kind of a strength going into this.
Caitlin, let's talk about Jeb Bush. He's had a couple of stumbles of late. He stumbled when he talked about perhaps not funding women's health issues. He stumbled over the Iraq question. What is his game plan for tonight?
Well, Jeb Bush has been, besides Donald Trump, has been leading in some of these polls. And I think that the typical advice would be to do no harm. But because of some of the recent stumbles that you mentioned, I think the spotlight is very much on Jeb Bush this time around. He has to show donors and constituents and those who have been supporting him or are thinking about supporting him that he is the only man capable of this job. When you have 10 candidates on stage, you really have to make an impact no matter what candidate you are. And I think he has to show people that he's ready for this in the long haul and prepared. Donald Trump, I think, can help him a little bit with that. We've seen that Jeb Bush has used Donald Trump as kind of a foil to be able to separate himself and show himself as kind of the serious guy in the room.
Huey-Burns from RealClearPolitics in Cleveland. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I wouldn't count Donald Trump out in this debate. I remember back in the 2008 election, I watched people were anticipating Sarah Palin, another populist candidate, against Joe Biden, and she did very well in that first debate with the vice president.
That is a very good point. Stay with CBSN for full coverage of the primary debate beginning tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Coverage continues at 11 p.m. after the debate with full analysis, of course, Friday morning here on CBSN.